Hey guys, David from the Modern Martial Artist here. Today we're doing a live breakdown of Joe Frazier's leaping lead hook. The way that Frazier threw this hook was pretty unorthodox, just like the rest of his style. So keep in mind as we break this down that Frazier was only able to get away with some of these techniques because of his incredible defense. Frazier broke a lot of the technical rules most coaches teach, but the result was a legendary hook punch with massive speed and power. So try to keep an open mind, and I'll point out the downsides along with the upsides of what Frazier's doing, and give some ideas about how far to go to make the move practical for you. Frazier almost always began his hook from a very low crouch, and was usually in a cross-armed guard while doing so. The crouch let him put the full power of his legs and back into his strikes as he rose up. And the cross guard allowed Frazier a larger pullback with his rear arm, which helped accelerate his rotation. While Frazier pulled his arm far back, with his elbow nearly touching his back, you can still get a lot of rotation by pulling your elbow back from a semi-defensive guard with your hand touching your chin. As Frazier pulled his rear arm back, he let his lead hand lag far behind. Frazier's hand made a very wide, diagonal arc, beginning way behind him and ending by his opposite hip. His shoulder lined up with his opponent well before his hand made contact. A great way to get this technique down is to imagine you're holding something heavy in your hand and let it lag behind you as you put your full body weight into moving it. Definitely make sure to warm up your shoulders first before trying this. This was a long-range hook, and Frazier's arm was straight throughout most of the punch. Now this does once again leave you open, so you can tone it down by bending your arm for a tighter, closer hook punch that still has a bit more load up and follow through than normal. The last thing, and probably the most important part of the punch, is the footwork. Frazier moved the exact opposite of most boxers, stepping his back foot to his front and then stepping out again. From this wide, short stance, Frazier would shuffle forward and then step his lead foot in, landing in a very narrow stance. Frazier would regularly step way past the center line, at times turning his back to his opponent. Stepping in like this actually helped Frazier connect with opponents who were circling to the inside, away from his power hand. But if his opponent was circling outside, stepping in left Frazier far out of position. If you train MMA, this is an even worse idea than boxing, and you can see why here. That being said, Frazier's step through really helped increase his rotational power. His hook was so devastating that the only thing most of his opponents could think about was getting as far away from it as possible, rather than countering from a superior angle. To get this down, you can think of landing your lead leg level or a little past your opponent's. This still gives you a lot of rotation. As a quick extra tip, Frazier liked to set these up by hooking low to the body, acting like he was going to hit hard but then simply tapping his opponent to get him to lower his guard, and then leaping to his hook to make contact with their head. Try it out on the bag and then try it out in sparring. Let us know how it goes. Like the rest of Frazier's style, this technique is not for everyone, but it does have some great takeaways. From the Modern Martial Artist, this has been David Christian, wishing you happy training.